Hi, today we're going to talk about fractions and decimals and how to convert between the two. So if you take a look, the first thing we're going to talk about is how to convert a fraction to a decimal. You can divide the numerator by the denominator. Okay, so the numerator is the dividend and the denominator is the divisor. So if you take a look here, and what happens is when you get a remainder of 0, then that's called a terminating decimal. And terminating means it ends. So if you take a look at example 1, the fraction is 3/4. 3 is the dividend and 4 is the divisor. So 3 is being divided by 4. Remember, that's what the fraction bar means. 3 is being divided by 4. 3 is being divided by 4. And obviously 4 can't divide into 3, and that's why it's a decimal. It's less than 1 whole. So make sure you add the decimal point and then a 0. 4 into 30 is 7. 7 times 4 is 28. You subtract and get 2 and bring down the 0. Divide again. 4 into 20 is 5, and 5 times 4 is 20. You have a remainder of 0. So your decimal is 75 hundredths, and that is a terminating decimal, again because you have a remainder of 0. Let's try a couple. Okay, write each fraction or mixed number as a decimal. Now remember, a mixed number then would therefore be a mixed decimal because it contains a whole number. So if you take a look at the first one, 1/4, 1 is being divided by 4. Add the decimal point and bring it up. Add a 0. 4 into 10 is 2. That becomes 8. 2, add another 0, bring it down, and my number is 20. 4 into 20 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20, and we subtract and we get 0. The next one is a mixed number, 1 and 7/8. So I'm going to take care of the 7/8. 7 is being divided by 8. So add a decimal point and a 0. 8 divides into 70 8 times. That's 64. Subtract and get 6. Add a 0, bring it down. 8 divides into 60 7 times. That's 56. Subtract, get 4, add a 0, bring it down, and 8 into 40 is 5. However, my answer is not 875 thousandths. You have to bring over this 1. So my answer is 1 and 875 thousandths. This is a mixed number. This is a mixed decimal. The next one, 3 and 3/10. 3 is being divided by 10. Add a decimal point, bring it up in 0. 10 into 30 is 3, and that is 30. And again, it's a mixed number, therefore it becomes a mixed decimal. You bring the whole number over, 3 and 3/10. Down here, when a decimal does not end with 0, therefore when it doesn't terminate, but it keeps going on and on with the same number over and over, that is a repeating decimal. So let's take a look at example 2, 2/3. 2 is being divided by 3. Add the decimal point and a 0. 3 into 20 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract and get 2. So the process is exactly the same. Add another 0. And bring it down, and we do it again. 6 times 3 is 18. And you notice what's going to keep happening here is you're going to always get 2 as a remainder. So we write this, the digit 6 repeats, so I put a bar on top of the 6, and that's called bar notation. So let's try a couple. Remember, it's done the same way. So 7 is being divided by 9. So now what happens here is we add the decimal point, bring it up right away so you don't forget, and now we're going to divide. So 9 into 70 is 7 times. That's 63, and we subtract and we get 7. Add a 0, bring it down, and the whole thing starts all over again. 7, 63, and 7. So no matter how many times you do this, your decimal is 7/10 repeating. Look at the next one, 8/11. So again, 8 is being divided by 11. Add the decimal point, bring it up in a 0. And that's going to be 77. and that's going to give us 3. Add the 0, bring it down, and 80, yeah, add the 0, bring it down, and we start again, and then this is going to be 2, 22, and that gives us 8, add a 0, 7, 77, 3, 0, and you can see now what has happened is we have 2 digits repeating. So this is being written as 0.72 and the bar notation on top. Now, if we take a look at example 3, write the numbers from least to greatest. Now, I have a mixture here of fractions, 1/4, a -2/10, a -3/5, and 1 1/10. All right, so now we're going to take, your first step is to change all of them into decimal form, much easier than changing them all into fractions. So 1/4 I know is the decimal, 0.25 or 25/100ths. This stays the same. -3/5 becomes the decimal, 3 divided by 5 becomes 6/10, but it's a negative, so it's a -6/10, and this is 1 1/10. Now I want to order the original form, remember? So we go back here, and this is my smallest, and the original form is a -3/5. And then I have this, which is the same thing. And then the next smallest number would be 25/100ths, which the original form was 1/4. And finally, 1 1/10 is my largest number. Okay. All right, so let's try one. 2/10, 4/5, 7/10, and 5/10. All right, so I'm going to change this, and then I know that 4/5 is the same as 8/10, or that's the decimal point, 0.8. 7/10 becomes 0.7, and then I have this. So now if I want to go from least to greatest, well, this is my smallest, and its original form was the decimal. Then the next one would be that, 0 and 5/10. Then finally, 7/10 as a fraction, which is the original form, and 8/10 is the largest, and the original form was 4/5. Okay, writing, now we're going to go the other way around, writing decimals as fractions. So write 1 and 12/100ths as a mixed number in simplest form. All right, well, it's exactly as you say it, 1 and 12/100ths, 1 and 12/100ths. This fraction can be simplified by the number 4. So I divide both the numerator and denominator by 4, and that leaves me with 1 and 3/25, or 1 and 3/25. So let's try this. 1 and 75/100ths, exactly as you say it, 1 and 75/100ths. Now I can simplify that by 5, but I do know also that 25 is a factor. That's your GCF. All right, so that's going to give me 1. Don't forget the whole number. 75 divided by 25 is 3, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. And finally, number 8, we have 3 and 4/1000, okay, because that's the thousands place. And I can divide by 4, and that's going to give me, bring over the whole number first, and 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 1,000, 4 can go into 100 25 times, and then bring over the 0, 250. Now, here comes some algebra, all right? This is a little bit difficult, so just sort of follow through with me, and you may have to watch this a few times. All right, I want you to write the repeating decimal as a fraction, okay? So we talked about a fraction to a repeating decimal. It goes on and on and on. So now we're going to write this going backwards. So my number, that's what the N stands for, is 72/100ths repeating. 2 digits repeat. So I want to multiply by 10 to the second, or 100, because I want to move that decimal over 2 places. beyond what's repeating. So if I multiply n by 100, remember in algebra, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So if I multiply the n by 100, that gives me this number, 72, and 72/100ths repeating. Now I take this on top, and I put this underneath, and I subtract. This is always going to be some form of 9. 9, 99, 999. 100n minus 1n is 99n. What happens on this side now is these cancel. Let's do that a little bit better. And that leaves you with the 72, the whole number. Now divide by the 99, and that's where that cancels. And now I have 72 over 99. 9 is a factor of both, and it becomes the fraction 8/11. I know that's difficult, but let's try one. Okay, my number is 7/10 repeating. One place is repeating, so I'm only going to multiply it by 10. 1, 0. That's going to give me 7 and 7/10 repeating. Now I take 10n, which is equal to this, and I subtract 1n, which is equal to this. 10 minus 1 is 9n equals 7, and I divide by 9 on both sides, and my number is 7/9. Now over here, my number is 54/100ths repeating. 2 digits are repeating, so I'm going to multiply by 100. That's 54.54 repeating. Okay, and again, that's the 100. Take off the 1. That's going to give me 99. And this part cancels, which is your whole goal here. Now you're going to divide by 99. This cancels, leaving you 9 is a factor of both. And 54 divided by 9 is 6, and 99 divided by 9 is 11ths, 6/11ths. Okay, that was tough. You may want to watch that part, a couple of times before you try to do the work. All right, good luck. Bye.